Now with this diagram, if you look at this, we have angle 90 here and angle 90, that is right angles here. So this line here can be traced on this same side, so that another line that is here will be parallel to this. So we can trace a parallel line to this on this side, so that the line goes like that. So this is a right angle, and if this line that we have just traced is parallel to this line, it means that this place will also be a right angle. That is, there will be corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are equal. So this is right angle, and this side is also a right angle. Now this is 17, and then we can see that since these two lines are parallel now, and we have angle 90 between them, it shows that this figure is a rectangle, because all the sides of a rectangle are right angles. So this is 90, 90, this side will also be 90, and finally this inner angle will also be 90. So this is a rectangle, and the opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. So if this is 17, this part will also be 17 centimeter. So similarly, if this place is 19, here will also be 19 centimeters, since the opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. This is 19, here will also be 19, we have 17, and we have 17 as well. So that means we can now use this right angle that we have here, this upper right angle, to find this distance here. And let me call that distance x. That is from here to this point as x. Don't forget that we already know from here to this place as 17. So we now have to look for this particular distance here, which is x. And the best way to do that is to use this right angle triangle that I have here. And then I'll be using Pythagoras theorem. So I can simply say that from Pythagoras theorem, we already know that theorem that tells us that the square of the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle, so this is the hypotenuse, which is the longest side, the square of that side, that will be 20 square, is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. The sum of the squares of the other two sides. So I'm going to square this x, that is x square, and then added to, that is the sum, added to 19 square, which is also the other side. So this is the Pythagoras theorem now, that is telling us that the square of the hypotenuse, which is the longest side of a right angle triangle, is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, that is the adjacent and the opposite side. Now, the square of 20 will give us 400. And then the square of, okay, this is x square, and then 19 square is going to give us 361. So from there we can solve for x. So 400, this positive 361, if it comes to this side, it becomes negative 361, and that will be equal to x squared still on the right hand side. So I can now decide to write x squared first. So I'll say x squared will be equal to 400 minus 361 will give us 39. So I now have x squared is equal to 39. So the next thing for me to do will be to take the square roots of both sides so that I can get my x now. So if I take the square root of this side, the square sign will simply go. So the square root of a squared number or a squared term is simply that term without the square on it. So the square root of this x squared will give me x without the square. And then that will be equal to the square root of 39. So taking the square root of both sides now has given me x is equal to the square root of 39. And the square root of 39 is simply 6.24 to 2 decimal places. So the square root of 39 is 6.24. So if we go back to our diagram now, we can now see that this x is 6.24 that we just obtained now. So the full height now, which is h, the value of h, is going to be 17 plus the value of x that we just obtained. That will be the full height of that figure. So I'm going to write h. So I'll say therefore h is equal to 17. That is the part that I already know, added to x that we just found now. So h will be equal to 17 plus 6.24, the value of x. And 17 plus 6.4 will give us 23.24. 17 plus 6.24 is 23.24. That will be the final answer. Don't forget in centimeter. So that value of h is 23.24 as the final answer. So please don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that I can get more detailed videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.